Milk and Cookies Total War, joined by a guest commentator today.
This is Maximus. Hello.
And he was the winner of Indypride's Milk and Cookies Total War Rome 2 tournament. So you might know him. He's kind of famous, actually
Kind of a big
blown
deal
up
around here.
recently. Yeah, he's kind of a big deal. Yeah, actually blown up on Attila so far. So I've been running a real nice channel over there. I will leave the channel in the description below. But today we're going to be playing against two Han players, both rocking the Western Roman Empire. I am on the Franks, and my homie Maximus Decimus Meridius is rocking the Geats. So you want to, well, actually, let's play 3, 2, 1, press play,
Yep.
and go over the factions and the builds.
Alright, well, I picked the Geats because I had been playing the Geats a lot, so I wanted to try a Nordic faction without Huscarls. And the plan here is basically, I know I can beat the Eastern Roman Cav if I just spam Nordic Horse Lords. I can make it even more decisive by bringing them to a single silver chevron, so I do just that. I have 6 of those, I believe. For infantry, I have a very weak center consisting of Nordic band. These are mainly to delay any enemy action against my cavalry. I have a few Nordic warriors, the Viking captain, the axe unit, but mainly the strength of my build is going to be my cavalry, and I have very light spear support here and very light skirmishing support. So the plan is to move up on the ridge, capture the ridge. It's the most important part of the terrain, defeat the Roman cavalry there, and then start rolling down the line.
Yep, and the Nordic Horse Lords are, without a doubt, one of the most ridiculously powerful cav units in the game at the moment, and Maximus is rocking the silver chevrons on them, as am I over here on the Germanic Horsemen. So we have a pretty distinct cav advantage in this battle, and we want to push that to its absolute fullest potential. So infantry line, the Nordic band in front, obviously going to get pooped on by all these elite Roman infantry, especially the elite Palatina, and the Nordic warrior is probably not going to do super well against them either. But like Maximus said, really focusing on the cavalry over on this side. If he can quickly get the Scola Palatina off the field and get some charges into the main line of the elite Palatina, should be able to do really well. So the Nordic band are coming up the center, and I actually decided at this point to send some Germanic horsemen up the center to help Maximus do a little bit better in the infantry engagement. So this is a kind of common tactic that you didn't really ever see on Rome 2, but see a lot on Attila, sending cavalry right up the center into the middle of swords. So I'm going to be doing that, trying to help him out a bit.
And over here the cavalry engagement starts. Get some good engagements here. He's trying to put in his Western Auxilia Palatina, but I managed to charge it in the flanks, send in the Nordic band, send in another Nordic band, and these are just there to tank hit points for my cavalry mainly. And while that is going on, I'm able to send in a cavalry unit through the gap and also move around to attack his cavalry in the rear.
Yeah, and that was a really, really good move with the meat shields there. Block some of the cavalry charges. That's so important in cavalry fights. Over on my side, the engagement is going kind of interestingly. Like, I don't have a lot of melee units at all, and I'm kind of probably getting a little bit too far up here. I'm kind of exposing the right side of my infantry engagement. My right flank is a little bit exposed. That's going to allow the Herculani Signores to come in, and they actually will... They can do really well against the elite sword here.
Oh, yeah.
I do have some Franciscus throwing in at the moment, but his cavalry is coming in now in diamond formation, and the Germanic horsemen and the Scarlet Palatina are going to start fighting out here on the right flank.
I think in this cavalry fight, the wedge might tip the balance in favor of the Western Romans, but I think you had a slight terrain advantage going down here when you responded. So I think that's going to go fairly well for you. In the cavalry blob over on the far side, the enemy is losing a lot of cavalry. I am also losing cavalry, but we did manage to break some elite Palatina and
Is it
almost
important
take.
in cavalry fights to use the diamond formation?
It's important for melee cavalry, very important for melee cavalry against shock cavalry, to reduce the impact you take and to increase your charge bonus. It's a bit indecisive, I think, in melee against melee. The thing about the wedge or the diamond, it reduces your movement speed but increases your charge speed. So if you activate it at the right time, it can be very nice, but it can also just make you slower and mean that you won't get the charge at all.
Yeah, that was a melee versus melee fight, so I guess it's not quite as important in that one, but against like cataphracts and stuff.
Yeah, and just look at the one Germanic horse holding out against the Palatinae. They are doing an amazing job. 15 kills on them, and then you have 2 Palatinae with 11 kills. So Palatina are terrible units.
And also some crossbow shooting in there as well with the flaming arrows,
Yeah.
and that's caused a lot of his cavalry to rout here. So definitely winning the cavalry engagement and finally have an opening to start getting into the Sagittari. The problem is like killing skirmishers in this game doesn't always happen very quickly, especially if you don't get a good charge bonus off and they're running away from you.
Yeah.
And all those flaming shot turning in to shoot at you can actually do a lot of damage. You don't really kill them all that quickly.
Now, they have lost on both flanks in terms of cavalry. They don't have a lot of cavalry left. They have a few units coming back, but most of it's tied down. So the plan with overloading both the flanks at the same time and just giving them basically something to do in the center seems to have worked very well.
Yeah, balance bar has shifted kind of a little bit in their favor at the moment. At this point, I was really nervous because looking at my line, a lot of my swords are wavering at this point. They've
Yeah.
gotten beaten up.
They have
I don't have a lot
700
of-
men against our 1,000, so...
Yeah, yeah. So, but I'm still shooting in with my crossbows. They've done a decent job helping me in this cav fight, but to be honest, I don't even know how much friendly fire I've done to my own guys. There might have been quite a bit of friendly fire at this point, because I was shooting over the top of my own cav units, and actually, I just routed one of my own Germanic horsemen, which was a problem. So I probably should have turned to shoot at something else at this point. I do have a cav unit in the back here, destroying some of the Sagittari, but again, it's not going really, really quickly. And the Frankish general, this is kind of a mistake, because I'm leaving him very isolated, and now all of a sudden, 3 units of archers are going to start pouring fire into them, and isolated like that, they're going to die pretty quickly.
And I lost my general very early because I sacrificed him to just send him in and stop a few units from supporting the cavalry fight. But if you look at the left flank now, I mean, the infantry that was there is just disappearing. And I still have 4 cavalry units left that haven't really taken a lot of damage. So in this whole engagement, I only lost 2 cavalry units.
Which is going to be very important, because late game against all these infantry units, that's going to do some damage, because they don't have the spears, they don't have the javelins to protect against the cavalry charges. So Nordic Horse Lords, yeah, you're right, 54 men, 39 men, 44 men, 57 men. That's a game changer right there. And if I was to watch a Roman Empire at this point, I'd be pooping my pants, because there's not a whole lot they can do at this point. I mean, balance bar is even, but they don't have the tools to really deal with that many cav units. And I mean, my main line is kind of routed. I've only got 2 infantry units left. The elite sword here, Ben. It's actually up to gold chevs at this point. They've done so much killing, 160 kills on the Herculani and the Palatina Guard, so they're doing well. But other than that, like, the Nordic Horse Lords are going to be the MVPs at this point, and they might be able to stop it, but it's going to be really, really hard for them, and I'm not sure they have the tools to deal with it.
The general is going to go down now, but from a nice downhill charge. The flaming shots here, they're going to do some damage to my Nordic Horse Lords, but I have plenty enough. I think I asked you to stop firing at this point. And just let me charge in, because these downhill charges here are more than enough. So this gives you the time to just pull away. And these Germanic crossbows in the late game, without cavalry on the field, they could almost have won us the battle alone, I think.
Yeah, they're really, really potent, especially when all these guys have HP damage done to them, all that fire damage, the morale after generals die, like, that does a lot to enemy infantry units. And so the cavalry's coming in now, and battle is definitely shifting in our favor. The only unit they really have left that's even kind of full strength is the Armagiri Defensores, and they're going to get beaten up by the Nordic Horse Swords.
Yeah, I mean, we have the perfect units left to deal with what they have left. We have skirmishers and cavalry. And anytime you have infantry left against skirmishers and cavalry, that is a massively bad time.
Yeah, so they're just kind of milling about, like running around, not really able to brace or do anything. Because if they stand still, they get shot by the crossbows. If they run after you, your cav charges in. There's nothing they can do at this point.
Yeah,
and
it's just damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah,
type
and
of
we're going to take
thing.
the field. So that was actually 2 Han clan members. I don't actually know their skill level. They seem certainly not bad in this game at all. And it's fun to go into matchmade and be clan members, regardless of whether they're top tier players or not.
And they probably knew each other, so they probably had things planned out for this specific battle.
Yeah.
But just taking a look at the kills here, the Viking captain and the of course the Nordic band does nothing. The Viking captain and the Nordic warriors sort of do okay, but there are 3 Nordic horse lords with over 200 kills, and 2 with more than 100.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, especially if we compare that to the kills of the Roman cavalry. My horse lords got more kills than the combined cavalry units from Rome, so they had a total of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My 6 Nordic horse lords kill more than their 11 cavalry unit, and your cavalry does a great job as well.
Yeah, I think the cavalry charge up the center. I didn't actually notice how many kills I got with my Germanic horsemen when I charged the Roman line on your side. I think they did relatively well though, and if nothing else, they certainly like disrupted his
Yeah,
infantry line and allowed some of your infantry to do a little bit better than they normally
yeah,
would have.
absolutely. And
So
your army was a very small one in this case,
yeah,
and
it really wasn't a great meta build or anything, but I just wanted to try things out. Like Elite Sword here bomb, I put a bunch of chevs on them. And you
yeah.
see one of them actually got up to gold. Yeah, it was probably a little bit small. If I had could have picked another Frankish army, would have just been a little bit bigger, a couple more meat shields, probably less Germanic
The
levy.
main thing is though that you got the cavalry advantage by having the better cavalry.
And
Um,
I think putting the chevrons on them is really
yeah,
important as
that
well, the
that
silver
you
chefs.
you have to do that, in my opinion, especially with Germanic horse since they are very prone to routing because of their low morale. Chevrons really help with that.
Yeah, pro tip, don't use the no at least at the moment, currently I believe this is true. Don't use the noble Germanic horsemen. Just get the regular Germanic
Yeah,
horsemen and shove them up to silver or gold,
absolutely.
and they're gonna do a lot better, a lot more cost effective for you.
Even triple gold. I mean, triple gold just costs 135, and that makes them cost 760. They are still cheaper than
Yeah.
than the elites.
Chevrons are broken at the moment, dude.
Yeah, yeah, they are absolutely. They, I completely agree. There are some units. The thing with upgrades, units with a lot of armor and health and mass are going to benefit a lot more than units that don't have that. So the perfect target is upgrading units like Germanic Horse. There's just no reason to not upgrade those units.
Pro tips, boys and girls. Hope you guys
Yep.
enjoyed the replay. Maximus, anything else you want to say about that one?
Western Roman Empire is not a good faction, mainly because they have
Uh,
good infantry, but their cavalry, their Palatinae, their whatever they're called, those Equites Promoti, just don't
Bad.
bother with the Western Roman at the moment, unless you're masochistic and you want to get your ass handed to you. It's all
Yeah,
about
'cause
the Germanics.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the elite Palatina and some of their infantry units are really good, but it doesn't really matter if you can't win the cat fights because you're just gonna get hammered and anviled or charged up the center, and
Yeah.
you're just gonna die. And that's
And
kind of what
this
happened
is
in
this
ML.
is something you'll see quite a lot of in Attila. That player games seem to be very one-sided. You're winning the infantry fight, the cavalry is holding on, and things look really good. Like they at one point they had 1,700 men left, and we had 1,000. So it looks great for them. The problem is they have the wrong types of units left. Sure, they won the infantry fight, but we didn't really spend that much on infantry.
And then when the cavalry comes in, the Nordic horse swords and their OP charges, their 35 charge bonus, it somehow kills 60 men on the charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, then suddenly they don't really have any chance, and the crossbows and stuff whittled them down in late game. But
Yeah.
again, hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and me and Maximus, I'm sure we'll be doing some more content relatively soon
Oh
in
yeah.
the future.
Strength and honor.
Thanks and honor.